Outrage growing this weekend over the way men and women who serve our country are treated when they return home. Now, both families and Congress are demanding answers from the Obama administration official in charge. ABC's Jim Avila has the latest.
It started here, the Phoenix VA, where 40 veterans died while waiting for a doctor's appointment. An inside whistleblower doctor telling Congress delays of up to 21 months were hidden from Washington bosses so his immediate superiors could earn bonuses.
Patients were dying because of it, and that's the point where we said, we can't take this anymore.
Patients like Phoenix vet and Purple Heart winner Ralph Nicastro, who died after waiting months for a specialist visit to diagnose the lump found on his neck after a routine checkup. He kept this journal, documenting the calls he made for 15 months trying to schedule a VA visit that never came.
Still making calls again to the Phoenix VA.
Why the hell can't our federal government and the VA do this for our fighting soldiers that have given their arms, their sight, their legs, and their life for this country?
The VA says it's investigating these serious charges and is conducting a nationwide audit. And there's pressure for the VA Secretary, Eric Shinseki, to resign.
There is universal outrage. Our members are so disappointed and are really betrayed. They've been at war for over a decade. Our members did their part. The VA's not doing theirs.
This week, Shinseki is scheduled to testify before Congress. For This Week, Jim Avila, ABC News, Washington.
Our thanks to Jim. That VA scandal, one of the topics we took straight to Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel in our exclusive interview yesterday.
It's a scandal that's shaken military families across the country. So should it cost Veteran Affairs Secretary Eric Shinseki his job? Already, the American Legion has called on the retired four-star general and Vietnam vet to step aside.
Should General Shinseki be accountable?
Well, there's no one who understands accountability more than General Shinseki.
Does he have your support now?
I do support General Shinseki, but there's no margin here. If this, in fact, or any variation of this occurred, all the way along the chain, accountability is going to have to be upheld here, because we can never let this kind of outrage, if all of this is true, stand in this country.
The average wait is 5 months. Is that taking care of our veterans?
No, it's not good enough. Obviously, it has to be better.
Shouldn't we have predicted that there would be a backlog? We were in the middle of 2 wars. We had tens of thousands, millions deployed during this period, and no one predicted that, including General Shinseki.
I don't think it just started with General Shinseki's term at the VA. This is something that should have been looked at years and years ago. So yes, we missed it.
Meanwhile, Hagel has that other crisis to deal with, the urgent search to find those kidnapped schoolgirls in Nigeria. The U.S. already has support teams on the ground.
Give us a reality check. How hard is it going to be to find these girls?
It's going to be very difficult. It's a vast country. So this is not going to be an easy task, but we're going to bring to bear every asset we can possibly use to help the Nigerian government.
I know one of the things people keep saying is, why wouldn't U.S. special operators go in and try to find the girls?
Yeah, well, I think you look at everything, but there's no intention at this point to be putting any American boots on the ground.
Hagel is also keeping a close eye on new developments in Ukraine, where satellite images this week show Vladimir Putin's troops aren't going anywhere, still massed along the Ukrainian border.
What are they doing? Why aren't they leaving?
Well, they're not leaving, as far as we can tell. You'd have to ask President Putin as to why he says they're leaving and when, in fact, they're not.
Should Russia be considered an enemy?
Well, it's easy to categorize an enemy. We're not at war with Russia. So do you define an enemy as being at war or not at war?
Adversary?
Obviously, an adversary in Ukraine, sure. But I think that's a little simplistic to get into either enemy, friend, partner, so on. Russia continues to isolate itself for a short-term gain. The Russians may feel that somehow they're winning, but the world is not about just short term.
One of the long-term issues Hagel has been focusing on, cybersecurity and the growing threat from cyber attacks, especially now that the Pentagon relies more on advanced technology like drones.
Do you feel confident that our drones, guided weapons, will not be hacked?
I'm not confident of anything in this business. You can be. But the fact is, Martha, it is as dangerous a threat that we are dealing with, the world deals with, especially the United States, as any one threat. It's quiet, it's insidious, it's deadly.
And people aren't paying enough attention to this.
I do fear that's true. We are. I'll tell you that we are.
And 1 year into Hagel's tenure, he's facing a new issue. While the end of Don't Ask, Don't Tell means gays and lesbians can now serve openly, transgender service members can still be dismissed without question.
Is that something that should be looked at again?
The issue of transgender is a bit more complicated because it has a medical component to it. These issues require medical attention. Austere locations where we put our men and women, in many cases, don't always provide that kind of opportunity. I do think it continually should be reviewed. I'm open to that, by the way. I'm open to those assessments because, again, I go back to the bottom line. Every qualified American who wants to serve our country should have an opportunity if they fit the qualifications and can do it. This is an area that we've not defined enough.